The following podcast was recorded by Richard and Dan in a state of pure terror. If you are squeamish, now is the time to turn off your podcast application. Viewer excretion is advised. Well, it's Mix, and it's Mush, and it's Halloween time for us. It's Mix and Mush. I'm Dan, and this is my co-host, making me sing.
And I'm starstruck. I literally cannot believe that just happened.
You come into my house and say, don't forget to sing the theme song 2 seconds before we record, and think I won't deliver.
Well, it's my fault for forgetting that you had all that musical theater history.
Yes, I've trod the boards.
And
Yes.
I'm Richard, by the way. I'm just going to slide that in there.
This is, by the way, I love that this is the maybe fourth time the "and I'm Richard" has needed to happen.
Well, I thought you were going to take me all the way there, because you were like, "This is my co-host," and
I don't
is, and then
Yeah, no, it's a double act. It's a two-hander, as they say. I think. Well, yeah, this is Mix and Mush, by the way. If the classic theme song didn't give it away. The classic theme song that you hear every week and go to bed singing, as I hope and know you do.
Oh no, Dan! I think we forgot to add the theme song every time except for this one. I think we've kept accidentally editing it out.
Oh, I knew that we forgot something every time. You know that awful itch that you get in the back of your brain where you think, I know I do this every week, but I think I forgot it every time.
Yeah, like when you're laying in bed and you're like, oh fuck, I think I forgot something 14 times. But I can't remember what it is.
Oh man, that is a great thought. I think I forgot something 14 times. What? Think that, just like tapping your head like an old cartoon. Think. What was it? Oh, the insulin. That's what it was.
Oh, that's right. Oh, well, that explains so many things.
Well, the funeral's tomorrow. Anyway,
My own
we're back.
Good thing I prepaid for it on Black Friday when they had that deal.
Black Friday. Coffin deals.
Do you think that would... Happy Halloween, everyone.
Yeah,
now we're
spooky.
talking about coffins.
Ooh.
Do you think... Because I feel like coffins are one of those things that you need... They're expensive. You need a Black Friday deal most.
Yeah.
For something like that.
I do wonder, there's got to be some enterprising young mortician throughout the ages, right, who's come up with deals for caskets and coffins, which is pretty ghoulish. But then you got to think like, okay, that seems ghoulish, but it's like, yeah, you're talking to a mortician though, so what do you expect?
Yeah.
He's not going to like sugarcoat the fact that you're buying your own death box.
That's like the definition of gallows humor. Like that is like... But I just imagine, in my head, I got this very vivid picture of a guy who's like, we'll get everything set tomorrow. You just show up at 9 a.m., okay? And he's like, okay, I have this punch card. And there's like 4 punches in it. And the guy is like, I'm so sorry. Slowly like putting the clip over. But I just work here. I'm not the guy who came up with it. I'm
sorry
so
for your
sorry.
loss. No, I thought you were going a different way, which is, so you're going that he's upset that he has to do that. Like, I'm so sorry, I have to punch your card.
I just work here.
I was going the way of like, that's his condolences. Like, you've it's always hard when a family member dies. Ka-chink. Anyway, the next time.
I actually gave you my Subway one. Oh, damn it. Well,
they're very similar. Yeah.
Green and yellow is an interesting mortician color to put
Yeah, it's spooky.
It's like, I love the Packers and you died. Those are my two traits that I have.
Yes. Oh, I think that we've this is funny. This is the second time we've talked about morticians in as many episodes, because we were talking about the living room, right, and the parlor and everything. And I do love there is something very funny about somebody who is morbid enough to go into that line of work and then doing it for a while and saying to themselves, I could make this funnier for myself. I don't have enough jokes and japes in this job of mine. I think I'm going to wear a funny hat next time.
Well, that's the thing, is I think that is a job that it's, of course, not everyone wants to do it, but it needs to be done. Sure. It's one of those jobs, but it's also a job that is probably painfully boring, right?
That's true. Yeah.
They don't bring you like a new kind of dead guy. Like,
no,
that really shook it up. You really shook up my afternoon.
You raise a valid point. Yeah, you're not going to, at a certain point, like with any other job, right? You're going to be like, yeah, I've seen this before. I've seen this a million times. And like even the most grisly things, at a certain point, you'll be so like inured to it. You'll be like, yep, another hereditary style decapitation. All right, well, we'll sew him back on or lay him on top of the pillow and make it look like nothing happened. Yep, same old, same old. Nothing ever happens in this town.
It's like a young coming of age story. He's the young mortician. Like, I'm gonna get out of this town and stop working at my dad's mortuary.
Nothing cool ever happens with these dead people. I want to see somebody who was, I don't know, turned into a slug or something.
He starts daydreaming in the most like horrifying line of work possible.
Yeah. How could I make body horror? Oh, wait a minute. Now we're doing a pitch. How could I make like a Herbert West Reanimator type character who's like, okay, I am a mortician and I'm very bored. I want to make people die in a way that's like really body horror centric. So I'm going to come up with and I'm tenting my fingers and being very sinister for this elevator pitch. I'm going to make a green ichor to inject into the eyeballs of the dead people so that their heads turn into mashed potatoes. This, I promise you, small town Maine.
We have an epidemic. All these corpses are glowing.
Okay. And
call the cops.
Dangerous?
It's not illegal.
Yeah.
he's like the guy's like fighting him. He's like, call the cops. I don't give a shit. I'm allowed to make bodies glow.
Yeah. Go on. Call them. I want to see what they say. Like he's just one of those know your rights guys at the end of it. He's like, I know. I call them up. I know what I can do. I know what I'm allowed to do, bro. I call them up. I want them. I actually want them here. I actually want them here to look at my glowing mashed potato corpses.
Okay, I have another movie pitch. Okay. And this one's not as funny. I thought when you said body horror, I thought you were saying a guy who works in a morgue.
Okay.
The janitor. He sells real human
Kramer
cadavers.
from UHF.
Kramer from UHF. And also from a stand-up career. So we're going to have to bleep a lot of this movie.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry, Michael Richards. That was a low blow. But so he sells parts of cadavers to horror movie studios and says that they're real. And then he slowly gets caught up in like the not wanting to get caught. So it becomes a horror movie about making horror movies. Oh,
that's a great idea. Like a guy who, because that's like a real thing, the body trade, right? Like there's, you can, I think Wang on YouTube has a video about like morticians selling body parts, like on the black market. And it's not like, you'd think it would be organs, but like, no, sometimes it's just like legs, weirdly. I love the idea of like a guy who he gets wrapped up in, we got to go to this guy, because his stuff is so real. And, it's almost like the way that he does it, it's like embalming fluid is coming out of its arms or something. It's like, ooh. I love this idea.
I pitched that. I mean, we might have to make that. Cut that out of the episode. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
But one of my favorite like industry like stories, right? Like movie industry stories, is the Poltergeist. Is how there was like a rumor. There was like they used real corpses in the pool scene, and it showed. And then it's an interview on like Making the Monster, I think is the show. I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
or something. Curse sets. It's some program like that.
Like behind the scenes spooky time for movies. Yeah.
Yeah, and it went to the guy, and he was like mad that they asked, and he was like, "Well, yeah, of course, it's cheaper to buy a corpse than to make one." And he was like, "Yeah, they were real, but like, what else was I supposed to do?" And so it's painted as like a rumor, like a myth through the industry.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they ask the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, like it's cheaper to buy a corpse and then give it back at the end of the day than to make a dead body
and give it back."
I think he rented them or something. I'm not positive. I don't think it was his personal collection, which would be much more concerning, I think.
Yeah, I have a bunch of bodies in my crawl space. What are you gonna do?
Call the cops.
So sue me.
I'd like to get the cops here.
Yeah, I Poltergeist is one of those movies that has a crazy amount of lore behind it, doesn't it? Like,
yeah,
there's like the idea of the curse of the people who acted in it, and like the little girl was like, I think, really horribly abused. This isn't funny, but this is kind of terrifying for Halloween. Like, there's a lot of scary stuff behind Poltergeist. I was talking about Poltergeist not too long ago, and I can't remember the context, but it was my father-in-law. We were talking about the scene in Poltergeist when he's like pulling the skin off of his face in the mirror, and how like that's such a visceral nightmare that like I'll think about that anytime I'm shaving. Like, I think every time I'm shaving, I'll think about that, or like the scene in Cabin Fever where the girl is shaving her legs. Like, it just pops into my head, and like I can't help it. And it's not good, but hey, spooky, happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. What was that movie? I don't think it was Poltergeist, but another movie they said was like another movie. It was like, oh, there's a curse, and I think someone crashed a helicopter into a kid or something.
Oh, well, that's the very real story of the Twilight Zone that John Landis directed.
It was kind of spooky. I didn't realize it was still in that vein.
So this is really awful story that like led to a bunch of regulation in the film industry, because this was like mid 80s, I think. John Landis, who directed, I think he did like American Werewolf in London. Like, he's a famous horror guy from the 80s. Like, he did a bunch of movies, and his son Max Landis is a prolific screenwriter and a weird guy. But there was this sequence in the Twilight Zone movie where it was going to be like a PTSD story about this guy who had come back from the Vietnam War. And when they were shooting a scene with a helicopter crash, like, it actually crashed, and there were these two child actors and then an adult guy whose name I'm forgetting, who died in this accident. Like, I think the kids were decapitated. It's like really horrific. Yeah. And it was the kind of situation where they hadn't signed the proper safety forms, and they were there kind of without the parents' permission. It was like one of those things where they were on set and like everybody kind of had a verbal understanding of what was going on, but there weren't the proper safety precautions taken. And so John Landis was taken to court. I think he was found not to be civilly liable, so he wasn't punished in any way, but it led to all of these industry regulations coming about. And speaking of Poltergeist, Steven Spielberg said, he's like, there's a quote that's crazy where he's like, I'm going to find it because it's so like Hollywood out of touch, weird, like a weird thing to say. I'm going to just, Crackly Research is helping find our horrifying, I don't want to see footage of it. No, that's not what I want. Crackly, contain yourself.
He's too good. He's too good at finding information.
He said, Spielberg said the crash made me grow a little and left everyone who worked on the movie sick to the center of our souls. He added, no movie is worth dying for. And it's like, I don't know, maybe be a little harsher about the accident where 2 children were killed and a man died,
yeah.
You know?
I mean, also, no fucking shit, dude.
Yeah, of course.
That was not, there was probably, I wasn't there at the time, but
yeah.
they probably weren't like martyrs for the craft. They were probably like, what a terrible thing to happen.
These two children who you know,
they suffered for art. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's a crazy. That's what that quote makes me feel like he meant. You know, where it's like, wow, they really gave it up for the Twilight Zone remake directed by John Landis. It's like, no, they were there because they didn't want to be at school. You know, these poor kids.
Just like when I killed that real Triceratops in my film Jurassic Park.
How did I make it look so? Isn't there? That's a great sketch idea. How'd you make them look so real? Oh, we just got real dinosaurs, and I killed one with my bare hands.
Jeff Goldblum said he'd only do it if he killed it. He'd only kill the animal if he got to do it with his bare hands. So we wrote that in. But that scene got cut on the floor. Like, it didn't even make it in the movie.
He has it. He has it personally. Jeff Goldblum. I understand it's in his living room, just on a projector constantly. So make what you will of that. But yeah, that was a real dinosaur that I found and killed.
Dinosaur. We gotta make some money off of this.
Movie magic.
I love the idea of Steven Spielberg being in like the forest, or not the forest, but like the vast jungles.
Yes.
And being like, what the fuck is that?
I gotta make a movie about this thing.
This is crazy.
Yeah. Somebody get my Super 8. I gotta go find this brontosaurus.
It's like a hunting Bigfoot, but a guy is like, there might be dinosaurs here.
I just got a hunch. I got a real gut feeling about this patch of the Amazon that there's a Triceratops running around. I'm going to go make a movie with Jeff Goldblum and that guy from New Zealand, I think.
Ooh, Sam
Neill.
And Laura Dern. Yep. I hit my mic because I got so excited because we both remembered
Laura Dern.
I hit everything on my computer when I did that. So if there's audio goofs, just know that was me being excited.
The whole Eastern Seaboard has gone dark because we remembered Laura Dern as an actress.
That's why I can't work at NASA. That's why they fired me.
Yep. Because sometimes you remember actresses from the 90s.
Oh, that's right. I turned around, knocked coffee onto like a panel. It's like, it was Kathy Bates. She was in Misery. Sorry, everybody. This is not, so we got a little dark, got a little grim. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, spooky time.
A true story that is kind of embarrassing for me, speaking of NASA, is growing up I wanted to be an astronaut. That's not a joke. Like, legitimate.
That's not embarrassing. I think everybody wanted to be an astronaut.
That's not the embarrassing part.
Continue.
Yeah, I got it in the chair and got to Mach 9. No. That's not true. But there was a military recruiter who was an Air Force recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
I think he came to our school or something. I can't remember exactly. But I talked to him because I heard you had to be in the Air Force in order to be an astronaut.
Sure.
Like that helped with it. And I asked if I could be an astronaut or I could join the Air Force. And he said no. I was too tall. I was too tall to fly planes. And I was really bummed. But
yeah.
But so for years I thought and said to people I was going to be an astronaut, but I was too tall. Forgetting that to be an astronaut you also have to be a fucking genius, which I also am not. So the idea that I was like, I've tried everything.
But okay, hang on though, because I'm gonna give you some credit here, right? Because I feel like
you could fly a spaceship. That's the kind of credit you're giving. I could see you doing that.
I was gonna say, like, I think it's a good thing to start with. I'm too tall, right? Because you could feasibly work on everything else to get to that point where it's like, okay, I'm going to learn astrophysics. I'm going to train every day. I'm going to I'm going to learn not to puke on my lap when I go into Mach 9. I'm going to learn that. I'm going to study it. But unless you cut off your legs, which would then preclude you from being an astronaut.
They also not let me be an astronaut, which is it's like a double-edged sword. There's no way to do it. So it's like you could explain every time, like, I don't think I have the brain chops to go into space. It's like, well, I'm also too tall. They told me I'm too tall to ride the space ride. Space ride. I understand what you're saying, right? But in the moment, I wasn't like, okay, what can tall people do? I'll just learn how to slam dunk basketballs very well.
Hell
and then
yeah.
that will be like my new career path.
Into space.
I'll play for the Astros. I think that might be. Is that a basketball team?
I think it's a baseball team, but we'll fudge it.
Fuck me. It didn't. I knew it the second I said it too. That was the worst part. So now I have to learn how to play baseball, which is way harder.
Hey, you're really making a lot of work for yourself about this. Yeah.
I don't want to be an astronaut. It's not worth it at this point.
You got to play basketball and then become a pro baseballer. It's really, there's too much work involved. That's like,
sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, that's like, Bob Odenkirk has this great story about, he on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad and everything. And he's done like a million things in the comedy world. And, I guess like there was an interview where he's like, yeah, my son was saying to me, Dad, I don't want to get into comedy. And he's like, okay, that's fine, bud. You can do whatever you want. But just curious, why don't you want to get into comedy? It's too much work. It's like he saw his dad doing all this stuff for jokes, and he's like, that's no thanks.
Dude, I don't do most things because they're too much work. So I understand.
I get it. Yeah,
that's why I became a podcaster. But so if my son one day, little Brantley, ever comes up to me, and I don't know if that's a real name. I say it a lot, but it might not.
It is now. Little Brantley.
Little Brantley, my son.
Yes.
I call him Marlon Brando, and he doesn't understand it. And if he came to me and said, Papa, he calls me sir, because I don't let him call me dad. He has to call me sir. He says, I don't want to be a podcaster. Then there would be problems. But,
well, listen up, kid. You're going to space. Put on your baseball cap. We're making you taller.
That's why your mother is 5'1", so you would average out to an astronaut level height.
And then little Brantley goes to your wife and says, Dad is very confusing to me. I don't understand him.
I don't think Dad understands biology, for one. And for two, space at all.
Yeah. Much of anything, now that I think about it. Yeah.
Mommy, is Dad stupid?
I think Daddy.
Honey, we'll talk about it when you're older.
I knew this day would come. Oh man. Well, I think, man, what a wild ride we went on. But we always do, and it's always great.
Yeah.
So now, in the spirit of the spookiest day, it's All Hallows Eve, as this is going out. And that's very scary, because what's scarier than an eve, the eve before the eve, right? So, double eve. I understand from the pre-work that we did on this podcast that you have a very scary hypothetical for us.
I do. Real quick, I just want to point out, All Hallows Eve is a scary name for Halloween, right?
Yeah.
But when you think about November 1st being a haunted day,
oh, that's
you really
true.
think about it, that takes a lot of it away from from the holiday.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I never thought of it like that, but you're so right.
The eve of the scariest day is Halloween, and then November 1st.
November 1st. Ooh, it's not that cold yet. Ooh.
It's like sweater weather, maybe, unless the climate changed. We didn't check.
The true horror. Oh, man.
But yeah, Dan, I think I could whip up a specifically horror and Halloween themed hypothetical question. And
so glad.
if it's not spooky enough, feel free to add a Dracula, a werewolf, a wolfman,
yes.
A creature from Black Lagoon, Frankenstein or his monster, a mummy, as they call it.
Yes.
You can enunciate anything how you want. No one checks.
A Frankenstein monster, as I said.
A Frankenstein, if you will. His cousin. But Dan, hypothetically,
yes,
would you rather have a time machine for traveling through time or a slime machine?
Richard, I'm so glad you asked me this question. I don't want to say it's the most important question of our age, but I'm going to say it's up there. And the reason I say this is because you never run these by me before we do them. And you did this time. And you were like, I don't know about this one. And like always, I said, we're doing that one.
I like how there was a dynamic shift, though, where every episode I call out that you didn't run the intro by me.
Well,
and now it's like, You never run these value. But this one, we did talk about the intro, and it was Slime Machine.
Yeah, it's so I have a lot of questions.
Of course.
Yes. Okay. So a lot of them are about the Slime Machine, but I'm going to start with the time machine.
I could see the Slime Machine being a little confusing, so yes. I do apologize.
So just right out of the way, is the time machine is it a multi-directional time machine? Like, can I go backward and forward? Or is it one of these tricks where I just sit in a box and time passes normally?
Yeah, see, so I've sold you a giant, like a refrigerator box that I painted gold. Okay. And I say, this is the time
I'm in
machine.
so far.
And then I leave town. And then you just wait in the time machine. No, in this time machine, it is, let's say it's a 2003 Ford Taurus.
Okay.
That could travel through time.
Great. All right, so we're talking, okay, so not as flashy as a DeLorean, but not as ostentatious as, I don't know, a Pinto or something.
Just a reliable car that also travels through time.
Hey, shout out Ford Taurus. I think everybody's first sensible car.
Yep. Mine, absolutely. That's what, I think mine was also 2003, which might be why I picked that number.
Okay,
but
so it's your car from 2003 that you've made into a time machine. Understood. So, okay, I'm gonna put a pin in the time machine. I'm going to mosey on over to the Slime Machine for a second.
And in this scenario, they're both in the same room, so you can literally walk over to the Slime Machine.
Okay, so I guess my first and foremost question about the Slime Machine is, what the hell are you talking about?
Okay, so I expected you to kind of understand. So I'm sorry, I just didn't prepare like an explanation because I thought you would just pick it up. So
I can kind of grasp at it, but okay, so let me ask you some follow-up questions to my first question of what the hell are you talking about?
What the hell is this? What the hell is it? Is question A.
Is it,
Go on,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Is it a machine that makes slime? Is it a machine that runs on slime? Is it Ghostbusters 2 type slime, or is it Monster Blood from Goosebumps type slime? What kind of slime are we working with here, and what is it doing for us?
So it's very confusing, right? So
I agree.
I didn't create. I
This is why we had to do this one.
I didn't expect you agreeing would like derail my improv so much. Just being like, yes, yeah,
literally yes-anding you.
Yes, yeah. Continue. So the machine is. No one's really sure what it does.
Oh, okay.
Some people. So the machine is very slimy, but it's not. Okay. It's not clear if it makes the slime, attracts the slime, runs on the slime, or just like maybe pulls it out of the air. The slime compound on the periodic table.
That's right. Of course, we're all familiar. You don't need to explain it any further than that.
I told you, I'm not a scientist. I'm not an astronaut.
So you just have two machines in a room, one of which is the 2003 Ford Taurus, and the other is a machine covered in slime. I'm with you.
I brought the recruiter to my house, and I said, "Look at my devices I've created. Bring me to NASA, please." And he said,
welcome to my laboratory. Here are my devices." You said.
Here are my devices.
My devices, my etchings, and my devices. Mr. Recruiter, the spider becomes the fly.
I knew you would come. I looked through my contraption. It's just a window with like something taped to it. My thingy.
My external viewer contraption. As I look out into the world and I see, yes, Mr. Recruiter, I understand you're interested in slime.
You strike me as someone who has a passion, much like myself, for the stickier substances.
Yes. We can always spot each other in the wild, can't we, Mr. Recruiter? He's gone. He's left like 10 minutes ago.
It's become a Hannibal Lecter thing where I'm locked up for his safety. Oh, Recruiter.
But you did it?
Oh, so help me out of the box. I hate the box. It was funny in my head.
I thought I could get out. I was watching a lot of videos about Houdini, but I think he was really good at that. I've never done it. Sorry. You know when you see something and you think you can do it, but he just made it look really easy. I don't think I could do this actually.
After hour 9 in my plexiglass cube, I realized he probably practiced quite a bit before he entered the cube.
He also probably didn't use real straitjackets.
I've dislocated both of my shoulders. I didn't know what to do next.
Except scream.
So call the police.
Mr. Recruiter.
Let's see your army help you now.
I'm in the Air Force. It's a different division.
It's a lot of checking the weather.
Yeah. It's more meteorology than anything. Well, probably the slime machine.
Okay.
All of that being said, because I want to know what it does. Because so I want to know. Let's say I go up. I have like a squeegee for a glass shower door, and I start just kind of scraping away at the slime. And
sure.
what do you reckon I'll see underneath this? Is it a thick coat of slime where like I can't see the machine underneath it?
The machine is roughly the size of an arcade machine, like an arcade cabinet.
But it's not an arcade cabinet.
It's not an arcade cabinet, but it does have a screen, and it does have like a board, like a panel on it. But it's roughly the same size. And much like the myth of the Hydra, once you remove slime, twice as much slime comes back in its place.
Oh, I don't like that. That's making me step away from the slime machine a little bit.
Well, let's not go too far from the slime machine, because it can smell fear. It knows.
Oh no! Oh, no. So it's a sentient machine?
Yeah, I put my wife's soul in it.
Oh no! And as we all know, she was full of slime. So
my wife, who contracted a terrible slime disease, I said the only way to save her is to put her in this machine.
Your wife, Vigo the Carpathian from Ghostbusters 2, what? You put her in a machine, and it became the slime machine, which is a arcade cabinet with a panel on it. Now, is the panel obstructed by the slime?
Yeah, well, you can see that there is a panel, but you can't read the buttons because of the slime. And the screen is not on because you have to turn it on.
Okay. Is it plugged in, the slime machine?
It's powered by the slime, so it doesn't need to be plugged in. Yeah, it's very green in that way, much like the slime on it.
The slime is green. That was my next
Slime is
question. Good.
I'm a little lukewarm on the slime machine. What's the color of the slime? Like, if I'm bringing this into my home,
look, if I'm gonna be bringing the boys from accounting in on this, I'm gonna need to know a couple of things. First of all, is it self-sustaining? Second, what color is the slime? Third, what did you do to your wife to put her into a machine? I can take or leave the last question.
Sure. Yeah,
the
that's
slime color.
Details.
Yeah,
slime color is green, and it's it is viscous.
And it's viscous.
My god, it's horrible.
It's more like ooze. It sounds like.
Here's the thing. How about this?
Okay.
If you take the slime machine, I will give you the time machine.
Oh wow! So you're just trying to get rid of this thing? Is what I'm understanding.
I know that you're supposed to like keep it cool when you're trying to sell stuff, right? I hate the slime machine. It is a bad investment. I spent $48,000 on the slime machine.
Yeah, that doesn't. Did you know what it did at that time?
Well, it's interesting. I ordered it out of a catalog.
Okay.
And it was $48,000, and then I had to construct it, which is the fucking worst. And
because the slime was getting in the way, presumably.
Oh my god! I had a rash that you would not believe. And the
I can imagine
I'm going to do it right now. There it is.
Yep, that's a rash, all right.
Yep, that's a slime rash if I've ever seen one. So I had to put it together, and then I had to put my wife's soul in it, and she spent a lot of time in the cube beforehand, and she was
the cube,
not happy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Women hate the cube.
Here's the thing. Not
These broads.
Not a lot of gendered language or stereotype on this podcast. Women hate the cube.
Women hate the cube.
It's stereotypical.
Yeah, send your letters in, ladies. I know they're going to be covered in slime. This is how you operate. We know you hate the cube. Women be shopping. And they hate the cube.
Women hate being confined into the cube.
Women be hating the cube. That classic Chris Rock bit that we all know and love.
He had a lot of cube comedy towards the end there.
Yeah. I think ultimately, if you're throwing the slime machine in with the time machine, if I don't like the slime machine and what it will inevitably do to me in my sleep, then I could always use the time machine to just give it back to you.
The idea of you in my warehouse with my contraptions in my cube,
Yes.
and it's you from the past or you from the future, be like, don't take the slime machine.
Don't take the cube, Dan.
It sucks.
Dan, you gotta come back with me. It's your kids, Dan. Something's gotta be done about your kids.
Dad, we both have to go to the future, which is only
You're
2
there
weeks
too.
in the future. I'm there. I came back. I was picturing you pitching to yourself.
Oh, we both have to go.
We have to go to the future.
We have to go to the future, and we have to prevent the catalog being written that Richard finds in the woods. I found out a lot about the slime machine in the future, Dan. You have to come with me.
If you think your correspondence with Richard is over when the slime machine's given away, you're wrong. He keeps talking to you about it for months.
It sets off a series of events, a domino effect of which cannot be reversed as much as we try. This is the only chance we have.
I won't
Get the
get
slime
into
off me, please.
Oh my! It's already on me.
It's on me. I love the slime machine. I've come around on the slime machine. You know what? I'm going to take the slime machine.
I think that's fair. I think if I was answering the question, I don't plan ahead for these to like give my own answer. I don't think I would take the slime machine. But I would regret not taking it. I would regret whichever one I don't take. Honestly,
You'd regret not taking the slime machine. I think this is. I don't want to live with regrets. I'd rather live with a slime machine than live with a regret. You know, I am always saying this. You know, off mic, you and I talk about this a lot. I would rather live with a slime machine than with a regret about a slime machine.
My favorite thing about that quote. My favorite thing about that quote, which is inevitably going to go onto a mug or T-shirt that we're selling, is that it creates this world where you have to have the slime machine. I'd rather have the slime machine. It's like you don't have to have
the slime
it.
machine.
You
No,
just have to.
I think all of these hypotheticals are very serious to me. So I think I'm living with the slime machine. You know what's funny? I'm thinking back to one of our previous hypotheticals about like what would a future version of, or no, what would a person from the future have to say for me to believe them? I think if somebody came to me and said, you have to come back with me to the future, otherwise the slime machine will continue to plague your life, I would be like, I don't believe in owning guns, but I think I need one.
I don't believe in the slime machine. But
You
I
can't take this.
I can't risk it.
I can't risk this slime machine. Oh, this universe we've created is horrifying and yet very comforting to me.
Let me ask you a follow-up question, Nick, because you did choose the slime machine against against all of the entire scenario should have made you not want the slime machine, but it brought you closer to the slime machine.
It sure did.
Me and the slime machine have never been closer. So let's say that you're you right now, right? Mm-hmm. And you come home, and let's say it gets delivered. Somebody comes in with like a dolly and brings the slime machine into your house.
Sure.
Where do you put it? And how do you handle any sort of cohabitation issues where you have to share space? Well, or I don't know, your wife.
She'll. I don't think she'll think twice about. If I came home with a slime machine, I don't think she would be too surprised. She might have one or two questions, but I think it would be over pretty quickly. I think this, if it's the size of an arcade cabinet, I think I would probably put it in. I would probably put it out on my like balcony, and I would want to put it in a place where there's enough sun so that I could conduct experiments on whether or not the slime would congeal in the sun. Because the first thing I would do as an inquisitive young man would be to say, what can I do with this slime? What are its properties? What's in that arcade machine? Is it Pac-Man? Can I play it? The end of my questions.
It's also about like pitching it, the way you pitch it, I think.
Sure.
Honey, great news.
We
don't have to buy slime ever again.
You know that thing that we're always talking about? The slime deficit in our home? I've got really good news. I have, and no, I didn't pay anything for it. It was a very strange deal. I have a slime machine. It creates slime, and there might be a video game underneath it.
And I couldn't walk away. I have too much at stake. I could not leave the video game or whatever.
I just thought to myself, I'm losing money if I don't take this slime machine. I am losing money on this deal. So I took the slime machine, brought it home, got a dolly that could withhold the stickiness of the slime machine. And here it is. Got some weird looks from the dog walkers around the apartment. But now we have the slime machine.
And I did have to briefly store it in the bathroom while I got everything ready. You're not going to want to go in there. It is bad.
It is. It is grosser than you'd expect.
I don't want to pick a fight with you, so I'm getting ahead of this. Do not go in the bathroom for a little while until I have a chance to go in there.
Classic marriage advice. I don't want to pick a fight with you, so we are going to ignore the problem. Okay? That's our plan.
Later, you can ask all the questions you want. Right now, the tub is full of something, and I won't tell you what.
Right now, the tub is full of goo, and I got to deal with a slime machine. So, and go back to being in the cube or whatever.
Here's the thing. I just let you out of the cube. You don't want to be asking a lot of questions right after that. It's like
the cube is fresh. Yeah, the cube is fresh. Look, this is. I'm glad I have the slime machine.
Sure.
Because here's the thing. There have been a couple of hypotheticals we've done where I could think back on it and probably think to myself, the problems outweigh the benefits with going to like a spooky house and surviving a night for however many thousands of dollars we decided on.
Yeah.
But with this, it's like, I would always be thinking about the slime machine if I didn't take it.
I think even if you did take it, you'd be thinking about the slime machine pretty often.
But at least I'd have it.
That's true. You would know where it is at all times.
Oh, I don't know. You've opened a dimension here that I don't like, which is the absence of the slime machine is scarier than the presence of it.
It could be anywhere. I saw a slime machine and I lost track of it. I have no idea where it could possibly be.
That's really scary. Yeah, I want to know where the slime machine is. We've cracked it now because we're never going to understand the slime machine. I would rather have, this comes down to a Lovecraftian problem. I would rather have it in my line of sight than think I'm going to be walking in the woods one day and suddenly slime machine. No, thank you.
Oh, I cannot. Here's the thing. I'm getting genuinely unnerved by how much the sentience that we're adding to the slime machine is horrifying. So the idea of you being on a walk in the woods and then just seeing the slime machine really far away, and then all you can do is walk towards it. And
yeah, because okay, when you're watching a horror movie and you see somebody I think maybe we have through the slime machine understood a deeper. Through the slime machine, all things are possible, and I think we've just understood a deeper level of horror movies that we've grappled with before, which is, when somebody sees something in the distance and they go towards it, we're all sitting in the theater on our couch being like, "What the hell are you doing? Walk away!" But you haven't considered the fact that if you don't go near it, you don't know where it is anymore. And now it's always going to be in the back of your mind, like, what was that big goat thing covered in slime that may have been a machine of some sort?
Or that goat that got too close to the slime machine.
Yeah, now it's part of it forever.
It's like the Blob.
Yeah. That's what. Okay, I'm glad you said that because that's what I've been picturing an arcade machine covered in the blob colored goo.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely. Here's another horrifying pitch, right?
Yeah.
You put it out on your balcony. You say it's basically caged out there, but we're gonna set up a nanny cam.
Oh no! I hate this already. Yeah.
And then let's say you're out to dinner, and you look at your phone. You check up on the slime machine, and the slime machine's gone. And there's a slime machine shaped spot in the slime that shows it was there. Now it's gone.
Yeah.
And you're just like, we have to get out of here.
Yeah, it's coming for us.
It's out.
It's mad that we left, and now I don't. It didn't leave any indication of its feelings, but I know that it's upset.
You made it mad.
I made the slime machine mad.
Oh my god! Do not eat the slime. Do not eat the slime.
No, that goes without saying.
Oh my goodness!
Don't be careful touching it, because I feel like touching it, it'll just absorb into your body as if you did eat it. This is I think we've got a good beat on the slime machine.
Yeah. And now here's the thing. Now that we have it all fleshed out, we have it put together, we have this new franchise started.
Yeah. Slime Machine TM.
Who's playing the slime machine?
Oh, in
the film.
I have heard that this is a hot commodity in Hollywood, the slime machine. Who's going to be the slime machine? It's on everybody's lips, right? Not the slime. Don't think about that. Do not think about that. Don't eat the slime. Do not eat the slime. I think, a Willem Dafoe type.
A Willem Dafoe. Okay.
Or, barring that, somebody close like an Idris Elba.
Okay.
Somebody like Willem Dafoe, like Idris Elba, could be the slime machine in our movie Slime Machine.
Here's the thing. So I'm not a sexist, so I'm going to say a woman.
They tried to do an all-female reboot of Slime Machine.
Before the first one came out, they already were putting together an all-female cast Slime Machine spinoff.
This woke mind virus about the Slime Machine.
Okay, so that we got too far. But I
love the Slime Machine.
I was becoming a friend at this point. It might be one of those movies where you're afraid of the slime machine and you realize it was protecting you from something worse. So the bad guy's not actually the bad guy. And here's what I pitch.
Yeah.
Slime Machine in the all-female reboot that's coming out parallel. It's a double feature where it's just an exact remake, but just with an all-female cast. We got Florence Pugh.
Oh, wow, what a get.
My! She's so busy with Marvel and that movie with Andrew Garfield. I can't remember the name of.
Right, and the one where Chris Pine got spat on by One Direction. Right, she was in that, directed by Olivia Munn.
Oh,
Don't Worry, Darling. Don't Worry, Darling. There's a slime machine.
The sequel, the long-awaited sequel to that movie I haven't seen. Also, I like how you referred to the guy from One Direction as spit on by One Direction, and I was thinking there's a movie where Florence Pugh and someone goes to a concert.
And they get spit on.
It's spit up by One Direction.
The slime machine's on bass. He's pissed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like a Spinal Tap remake, but
he does,
one or more of the members is Slime Machine.
Okay, I think we found the round out for this, because don't the spontaneous combusting drummers turn into slime? Isn't there like a bit?
I don't remember.
I feel like there's a bit where it's like, yeah, they just left and there was like a little bit of green goo on the drum kit. I'm pretty sure that's in there.
I'm not gonna check because I want that to be true so bad.
I'm pretty sure it's true.
But I think here's the thing. We're having a lot of fun with Slime Machine. TM.
Of course.
Obviously.
Yes, we've already written it to ourselves, mailed it.
I'm also going to TM Florence Pugh and Willem Dafoe and Idris Elba just to make sure that we have that. I don't know if people
locked in.
I don't know if people have trademarked them yet. But I think it should. I think we've flushed it out, right? It's acquired. It turns out it's not the villain. It's actually a friend, and you team up with the Slime Machine. And then at the end, you're in the forest, and you're like, "Get out of here, Slime Machine! We don't want you anymore." You're trying to get it back into the wild.
Go on, you big stupid animal! Get out of here, Slime Machine!
Slime Machine and the Hendersons.
Yes.
Can't
you see we don't want you anymore? Slime Machine.
And the camera keeps cutting back and forth, but every time I saw the Slime Machine, it's a little bit further away, but it never shows it moving. We had to do it, but he left you a little something, and he picks up like a present, and he hands it to him. It's just a box full of slime. It's like, oh, how did he know?
He was pregnant. The Slime Machine has left his son. Oh, Slime Machine.
And in the sequel, Slime Brantley.
becomes an astronaut. Goes to space. Oh my God, we figured it out.
It's the greatest fucking idea we've ever had.
We've done it. We've done it. I'm so happy that we both chose Slime Machine. I think, and listener, you also have chosen Slime Machine. I hope you understand.
That's in the terms and conditions. In the terms and conditions, it explains that you also picked the Slime Machine in any scenario.
I think we've stumbled into a real tentpole of this podcast with the Slime Machine.
This is going to be a dorky bit. So
please.
You know, in Oblivion, if you kill someone, you get a hand.
Yeah.
From the black hand, we know.
We know.
Imagine a listener listens to this episode and goes, I don't really understand a lot of what's going on with that. But happy Halloween. I'm glad tomorrow's Halloween. And then they get a letter in the mail. And they say, it's a little hefty. They open it. And it says, you've chosen the Slime Machine.
You've chosen the Slime Machine. Oh, no. You've chosen the slime. That's spooky because it's not like, you know, you have been chosen by the Slime Machine. It's like
which is also scary.
I know, but by misunderstanding the Slime Machine, you have chosen the Slime Machine.
Do you think? Here's the thing: we know that Slime Machine's going to be big.
Of
the
course,
hit film.
Yes.
It's not even a question.
Florence Pugh, Olivia Munn to direct.
Olivia Munn to direct. I don't think they get along.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But this will bring them back together. We're bringing the dream team.
That's right.
Do you think Slime Machine will be lucrative enough and adaptable enough to fit into every franchise?
Oh, 100%.
I think so.
I think Slime Machine versus Freddy versus Jason versus Ash versus Pinhead versus Joe Rogan. the perfect ensemble film.
That's how we repair the bridge between us and Joe Rogan.
That's right, with the slime.
Joe, we've poked a lot of fun. Will you be in our new film?
We know that you've been running and gunning for Slime Machine, and we don't want to brag, but we know Slime Machine. We've hung out with Slime Machine quite a bit.
Your name came up a few times, so
yeah.
Just want to.
At least we think it did. We think it did. It's hard to understand the Slime Machine.
It's a lot of vibes with the Slime Machine.
I'm gonna be honest. This is usually where I would say.
I'm gonna be honest.
This is usually where I say, and now we're gonna take a break. But I don't know, Richard. I feel like we have to end this episode because I
think we went too far.
I think
and
typically
we can't recover.
I know, but I'm so happy that we went this way, and it's so funny. So to pull the curtain back, that's covered in slime. On this episode,
God, this sucks.
We before, like literally before recording this, we were like, oh, maybe we can talk about X, Y, and Z. And then Richard, you said like, yeah, but we usually find our way to the end of the podcast. Like, we'll figure it out. And man, you couldn't have been more right with the Slime Machine here.
And I want everyone to know that this episode would not have been possible if it wasn't for Dan, because I said the Slime Machine for multiple reasons, but specifically I said this is a funny one that I'll never use, and Dan said we have to do Slime Machine.
Sometimes, the will of the Slime Machine will speak out to you. Honestly, I'm just laughing at how much we've said Slime Machine.
I also like how it's kind of unclear how to address it, because sometimes it's the Slime Machine, and sometimes it's Slime Machine.
It's like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. It's like, are you the Joker or Joker? No, it's whatever. I'm Slime Machine.
Slime Machine's here. Cool. I didn't realize he was coming to this party.
Party started. Slime Machine has entered the building. The Slime Machine has squelched its way into our hearts.
And now it's squelching itself on DVD. Disney DVD.
From the Disney Vault, Slime Machine. Coming for the last time. Get your copy of Slime Machine before it returns to the Disney Vault and infects the rest of the movies with the slime. Pinocchio's days are numbered by the Slime Machine.
Unfortunately, because we kept it in the same vault, Hercules is gone. Goofy movie is gone. Cinderella's gone.
With the borrowers, we were going to get rid of that one anyway. The Slime Machine did us a favor. We've done a lot of good work here with Slime Machine, who is now a wholly owned subsidiary of Disney Entertainment.
The thing about the borrowers, though, is that it's referenced so much in pop culture and in life that it might live on beyond the vault and the slime, because
as we all do when we enter the slime. Yes,
we all exist beyond the slime.
Yes, as we all.
So the Slime Machine, praise be upon him.
Yes, of course. Hallelujah, amen, etc.
Hallelujah, amen. Book of Slime, is that anything for the Bible of this religion?
Oh yeah, it's covered in slime, and
this is the normal book. It just is slimy.
You open it up, and it's like when you open up like a toaster strudel, and it's just like bunch of slime. You know when you eat a toaster strudel, there's a bunch of slime in it. Man, Halloween is scary.
It's so scary. And the worst thing about it, right? Not Halloween, because I think we nailed it, Dan. We fucking killed it.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
The scary thing is I have a feeling Slime Machine will return for Christmas.
Slime Machine will return.
And then it's little Timmy. He reaches his hand into his stocking, goes, "Wow, Slime Machine's real."
Tell your parents, buy me Slime Machine or go to hell. I'm laughing. I said Slime Machine will return, and I was thinking about a horror movie, but then I pictured at the end of every James Bond movie where it's like 007 will return, Slime Machine will return in golden slime. Slime Breaker.
Dan, new idea for a t-shirt. Black t-shirt, white text, Slime Machine will return.
Slime Machine will return.
That's all. No fluff. No guff.
It's not a threat. It's a promise.
Slime Machine will return in Avengers Endgame 2. I don't think they made another Avengers Endgame.
Even more of an end game.
Ender's Game. Ender's Game 2. Avengers Ender Game 2. The Slime Chronicles.
Slime Machine. I love you, Slime Machine. I think we've really, man, oh God, I'm just the possibilities of this. And what's funny too, is I'm just picturing our listeners, some of whom, if you've made it this far, the Slime Machine bit.
Oh, if you've made it this far, you're a fucking hero.
Then
Mix and Mush. You're like a patron saint in Mix and Mush.
You are, yes.
You're canonized.
That
what is it called?
Machine, no, you're right. You canonize.
Oh,
you become a saint.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you've that this will eke its way into a lot of other conversations about this about movies.
Here's the thing. Before these shows, a little behind the curtain, Slime Curtain, we talked about Slime Machine during the episode. Basically, only talked about the Slime Machine.
It's a lot of Slime Machine talk.
I'm almost positive once this is over, there will be some Slime Machine conversations.
Oh yeah.
Before we even go to bed tonight.
Oh, it'll plague my dreams. I think no. That's a foregone conclusion. You and I will talk about it, and then we'll both
tossing
think
and
about
turning.
It. In the loving embrace of the Slime Machine. We love you, Slime Machine.
I had a nightmare that my wife, the Slime Machine, wasn't here. Oh, there you are, honey.
Oh, thank God.
You're so
it's a Twilight Zone episode.
You run hotter than I expected you to.
This is a straight. You don't conform to Euclidean geometry, Slime Machine wife, and I love you for that.
I thought the slime would be cooling, but it's the opposite. It might make you warmer.
Anti-aloe vera. It's just hot slime. Vera. Yeah. Oh man. Well, I think at this point, because we typically, again, we would typically go into maybe some movie recommendations, but I think we're all going to be thinking about the Slime Machine. So I think we have to say, Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
And praise be to the Slime Machine.
All hail the Slime Machine.
We will see you all in slime.
We'll see you all next slime.
Your friends in slime, Richard and Dan.